So HBO Max has had a bit of a rocky start. First off, with how it launches, and then of course, the good thing they did was they stood up for fans, but now they're bending the knee. And it's all over the movie Gone with the Wind. A film that was made 81 years ago, when society was very different. But blue-haired whales don't seem to understand that, and now they're complaining over it. And now they want to censor it. Here we go again. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So HBO Max is going to censor Gone with the Wind, apparently. Now, keep in mind, this film was made back in 1939. Society was very different back in that time. There were a lot of bad things that happened back then, and I'm not defending those bad things, because there were bad things that definitely happened back then. But what it seems that these people that are complaining, these Puritans that are screaming over it, and what HBO Max seemed to not understand is that this was made in a different time. This was 81 years ago. I mean, 81 years ago. Society's changed between now and then, and there were a lot of questionable things that a lot of shows and movies back then did, obviously. But they seem to think that, oh, well, we gotta censor things. We gotta censor it for the sensitive audience. Because there are so many people that are so sensitive today. But anyone with a rational mind can see that this was made in a different time. 1939. Long time ago. Very long time ago. And apparently they don't understand that. But, the thing is that doesn't mean that you go around and you censor old forms of media or anything like that, or remove it. I mean, you don't go and edit these old films or, cut scenes out or anything. It's really stupid. But you'll see how this backfired in a moment. So let's get into this first, and then let's get into how this actually backfired epically for HBO Max. HBO Max has removed Gone with the Wind from its catalog, sort of. An HBO Max spokesperson confirmed that the streaming service removed the 1989 film in light of nationwide discussions around ism, prejudice, but it will return with a discussion of its historical context. So, trigger warning. So, that's what you're going to do. You're going to basically make like a, documentary, would you say? It's trying to talk about the discussion of historical context. I mean, really? That sounds terrible. Why would you do that? The discussion to take down the movie followed the publication of a Los Angeles Times op-fitting titled, "Hey, HBO Gone with the Wind romanticizes the horrors of slavery. Take it off your platform for now." In it, John Ridley, screenwriter of 12 Years a Slave and creator of the TV series American Crime, argues that Gone with the Wind romanticizes the Confederacy. I mean, this is just dumb to me, and personally, I don't care for this film. I don't care for it at all, but I think that them just going after it because of this is just stupid. Why can't people just understand that this movie was made in a different time? Back in 1939. I mean, like I stated, society was vastly different back then. It's just so stupid that now they feel like they have to put a trigger warning when people should realize that it was a different time. It's just so dumb to me. This is ridiculous. It's so stupid. And HBO Max came out with their own statement. HBO Max seems to have taken Ridley's words into consideration, emphasizing in their statement that the movie would eventually return to the platform along with an explanation and a denouncement of its depictions. Read the full statement from HBO Max below. Oh my lord, that's so, it's not an ist platform. It's not going to be seen as that because of a film. That's why. Why would they think that? It's so dumb. Gone with the Wind is a product of its time and depicts some of the ethnic and racial prejudices that have unfortunately been commonplace in American society. These ist depictions were wrong then and are wrong today, and we felt that to keep this title up without an explanation and a denouncement of those depictions would be irresponsible. These depictions are certainly counter to Warner Media's values. To when we return the film to HBO Max, it will return with a discussion of its historical context and a denouncement of those very depictions, but will be presented as it was originally created, because to do otherwise would be the same as claiming these prejudices never existed. If we are to create a more just, equitable, and inclusive feature, we must first acknowledge and understand our history. Now, there are some parts in that I agree with, but, the movie would be fine on its own, and then you could have the document separately. That would be fine. That wouldn't be a problem. But to put the document before the movie, that's just dumb. There's no reason for a trigger warning on this film. But, hilariously enough, this backfired. This backfired bad. Backfire Gone with the Wind sales explode after Leftist Target movie. Sales of other classics are skyrocketing. So, apparently, because HBO Max decided they were going to pull this and then, edit it, yeah, apparently the physical copies have been going up, which is hilarious how this works. It's the Streisand effect. The recent decision to pull the American classic Gone with the Wind from HBO Max has had the Streisand effect, a phenomenon where attempting to suppress something ends up calling more attention to it and thus having the opposite effect of the intended desire. Yep, and this is what happens. If you look back, whenever I talked about how Boku no Hero Academia, or My Hero Academia, it was actually banned in China, if you remember, because of the manga, when the mangaka, whenever Horikoshi, named the scientist, and then it turned out that the Puritans looked up the name, and, he shared a name that was to this big event that happened back in World War II in Japan, China, and Korea's history. And, of course, China tried to cover that up by banning Hero Academia, and that totally backfired. More people, started looking into what it was. But, that's the thing. That's what happens with the Streisand effect. That's what's happened with this movie, and this movie has been selling. Like, the physical copies have been selling on Amazon for up to even $300. It is insane. And HBO Max have completely backfired with this censorship. But another thing the media doesn't talk about with this film, with Gone with the Wind, is that this film was the first film to historically have a black woman win an Oscar. But the media has completely, buried that. I mean, of course, it was under, situational and questionable scenarios, but still, you get my point. Like, they don't talk about that. A review of Amazon's bestsellers in movies and TV from Sunday did not show Gone with the Wind appearing in the top 100 ranking bestsellers in the category. However, by Wednesday, Gone with the Wind exploded in Amazon's rankings to numerous top spots, including the following spots in the top 100 overall for the category. It shows you how bad this backfired for HBO Max. Number 1, Gone with the Wind, 70th Anniversary Edition, which that I've seen, I looked at the prices. They are going pretty high. I mean, there was, between $120 to, $300 on that. And this is the big thing, the big important thing. See, personally, I buy physical copies of basically everything I get. And that's what I recommend to people watching this video. If you enjoy something, buy a physical copy, because who's to say when they're going to try to edit something, censor something, you never know. That's why I don't buy the virtual copies of movies, because they can do that. It's like what they did with Back to the Future 2. They actually edited that. They changed it, and, many people noticed it, that they censored a part in that film. And that is a great film. I love Back to the Future. But, considering that if they can do that to that film, right, they can do it to any other film that's got a virtual copy to it. So that's why I recommend, if you're going to buy films, buy physical copies, because they can't edit that. It's already in your hands. They can't change what you already have because you have the physical copy. But, that's the big thing when it comes to digital copies. If they decide to remove it, they remove it. You don't have it until it gets back up, and then it can be edited for all you know. And yeah, that's not a good thing. So that's why I say get the physical copies. But speaking of physical copies, now looking at Gone with the Wind here, this one right here, $32.99, which is pretty crazy for this. And it is nothing but a format DVD. Well, then, which this is the 70th anniversary. Well, here is the Gone with the Wind 70th anniversary edition with a special edition and the anniversary edition here. It's pretty crazy because it's going for $129.95. I'm not kidding. This is how much this affected the sales of this film now that they're going to censor it, right? That they're going to, put the trigger warning in front of it. But I'm just like, wow. And then here's another one that is going for multi-format for $79.99, and then of course the current price is $134.95. Shows you how much this has affected the film when it comes to its price on the market for a physical copy. So this goes to show you, keep your physical copies, because they're going to be very important one day. Because if they continue to try to edit things, change them up, then yeah, the physical copies are going to be worth something. So if you have a copy of this film, you got a pretty good amount of money on your hands. So, I'm just saying. But there are times where they will, double dip movies, which means that they make like another addition to it. It's like with Star Wars, for example. I have the original versions, as well as I have the trilogy that was done in the 90s. I know, I'm a big Star Wars nerd. But thing is that when that new edition came out, I believe, what was it, around 2010 or so, when Lucas did that one, there's so many things I didn't like about that. But, there are a lot of changes that could happen to films. Always be sure to keep your physical copies, because if they try to edit anything or change anything, the originals are going to be worth more. So that's always a big thing to be aware of. And it's just funny that this backfired on HBO Max. They were trying so hard to censor this, and then it backfires, and this film just blows up in terms of price. It's just hilarious. Good old Streisand effect. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you are still subscribed, because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels. So make sure you are still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share the video on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the newest videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.